Welcome back to the channel, Crypto Trend Trader, with a quick update on Bitcoin. Before I get started, I'd like to remind you it's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly. Alright, here we got the Bitcoin chart. I'm looking at the 4-hour, and as you can see, we essentially got that bounce back off the 618. And matter of fact, just do the quick little sum up. Essentially took the fib from the bottom point here at 64.63 and fib to the local top at 73.13, basically about $1,000 move. So on that move back down, we came down and retested the descending broadening wedge top resistance line that we had broke through, and came down, confirmed it as support, which lined up perfectly with the yellow 382 for the entire move from 74.64 down to 64.68. So basically the move back up was almost to the 886 of the yellow, and then we came straight down to the 382 of the orange, and then from the bounce there that lined up with the 618, and also that's resistance that we had broken above. So we broke, confirmed it as support, and now we're getting the move up. Unfortunately, what looks like is happening is we're running out of steam here. We did consolidate back down at the 618, and we're trying to push back up to the 786, but we're failing to put in a higher high. We could move up as high as the 886. Basically, I'll be taking short positions off this area, as that is the last likely internal retrace before we take out this high and potentially confirm a micro uptrend. Which is what I would expect to happen if price action comes up here to my red shorting area, at which point in time we could get the burst as high as like 7,800. So that basically next like $300 range through here would be my shorting area, which would essentially line up perfectly with the green and blue resistance line, which is our long-term Fibonacci moves. And then again, that's going to keep us inside of this descending broadening wedge, and line up with a lot of our other diagonal and horizontal resistance and support lines as well. But at this point in time, we have an extremely strong resistance right here at that 9,048 range. So in the event that we do take out this high here and get a powerful move up, that would essentially just be the retest of the green diagonal trend line, which goes back for literally years, and is essentially like the bottom of the triangle that we broke out of. So in the event that we did test up to that and the red descending trend line that comes from our all-time high and then the 14,000 high, and then we failed to get above here when we got up to like that 10.5. So now if we come up and we make it all the way up there again, essentially what I would expect to happen is us to just put in another lower high at 91.17, and then basically get the sell-off potentially back down to the bottom of the channel, and then look for a new high to be put in at 4,300. Now this is obviously a long-term outlook on Bitcoin, but I'm trying to avoid putting out like the daily videos because I notice people are becoming too reliant on them. I'm getting basically like the same 300 views every single video, and like if I don't put out a video for a day, I'll notice I will like lose a couple subscribers, and then the moment I like put out another video, I'll immediately like regain those subscribers. And what that tells me is that people are like basically becoming frustrated because I'm not putting out videos fast enough, that they basically like feel like they can't rely on my technical analysis, and that's not what it's here for. I'm here to basically help you learn. I'm not switching my style every day or changing what indicators I use. I've been using the same techniques, the same indicators, which I design myself, so I actually know how they work. I don't have to ask people to explain them to me while I'm in the middle of trying to explain them to my audience. But basically, like by using the same indicators and same strategies over time, like I've developed a very consistent and successful, trading strategy that basically takes into account these different factors that I use, and it's actually been very successful. Therefore, I'd rather teach you guys that system and allow you to use it, and allow you essentially to, learn how to do technical analysis yourself, rather than just, understanding that I am credible and I am correct more often than not, and basically just waiting for my video to come out so that you can take action, because that's not what I want, because this really isn't financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets really are extremely volatile, and you need to do your own research, and you need to trade responsibly, because I could literally put out a video and be completely right in it, and 2 hours later something could happen and it completely changes the scope of everything. And it's very important that as as essentially like the audience, that you understand that is in fact the case. So but essentially at this point in time, I mean, this doesn't look terrible. I mean, this is essentially, we broke out of that channel. We found support multiple times on top of that purple top line of the channel, and now here we are basically just like bouncing it repeatedly, and we're trying to essentially like break out of this pattern. And just the way everything is setting up now, it looks like essentially what's happening is we're basically like in a couple of like descending, broadening wedges. The one larger one here that we essentially were able to like break out of, and then we're like consolidating on the top of it. But if we can break out now above this trend line that we're forming right here, matter of fact, I'll draw it in so you can see it like a little more clearly. But if we can now break out of this next trend line right here that's developing like another broadening wedge, you'll see right here in the purple and red, if we can essentially like just consolidate in this range, and even if we have to come back down here again and put in a higher low than these two past points right here, but essentially like we're just looking to come up here and take out this high right here, even if we don't initially get right up to the high. That's why I'm looking at the 886, or potentially like the danger zone, like double topping, and then potentially coming down and finding support right here, or selling back off. But essentially like the next big move that the market makes, like whether it puts in a swing high, or continues to the upside, or whether it puts in its lower high right here, and then potentially like takes out the low to the downside here, regardless we're going to get some kind of resolution in the market. Because essentially what's happening right now is we're just range trading. We basically, from when we broke back into this range right here at 6600, we failed a couple times, but then once we got above it, we've now maintained support in this area for essentially since April 20th. So we've basically just been like oscillating in this range for like a week or two, and essentially what I would expect to happen is we continue to oscillate for like another week, fill out this range for like a 2-week period, essentially inside of this little like triangle area right here, and stay inside that range, and then finally we can get the break, either back to test the top of the range, potential breakout, or back down to the bottom. And if we consolidate here long enough, I would expect us to break in the same way that if we can like consolidate at the top of the range long enough, I would expect us to break. So well, there you have it, guys. Crypto Trend Trader with a quick update on Bitcoin, and I'm signing off.